The grandfather clock in the foyer strikes 6. Each chime reverberates through the marble floors of my parents' Connecticut estate, marking the end of my life as their daughter. I stand in the doorway of my childhood bedroom, suitcase in hand, watching father remove his reading glasses with deliberate slowness. Chicago. He tests the word like it tastes bitter on his tongue. To pursue interior design. Mother clutches her pearls, examining the modest stack of moving boxes behind me. Her lips purse into that familiar expression of disappointment I've seen since I was 7 and chose art camp over tennis lessons. Emily, father says, adjusting his tie with the same precision he uses in the courtroom, this isn't a career, it's a hobby for bored housewives. My fingers tighten around the handle of my suitcase. 3 years since graduation, and they still can't accept my choice. I have clients waiting for me, I say, struggling to keep my voice steady. Real contracts. The Lakeside Cafe and Stella's Salon have both. A coffee shop and a hair salon. Father scoffs, looking at mother as if they share some private joke at my expense. That doesn't make you the next Martha Stewart. Mother steps forward, her heels clicking against marble. What will I tell the Hendersons? Their daughter Sarah just made partner at her law firm. She touches my arm, her diamond bracelet cold against my skin. Everyone will be talking. About what? That your daughter is pursuing her passion instead of living someone else's dream? The words come out sharper than I intended, but I don't regret them. 3 years of these conversations. 3 years of subtle dismissals and outright mockery. Father's jaw tightens. You're throwing away every advantage we've given you. My mind flashes back to graduation day. The silence from my parents when they announced my degree in interior design. The standing ovation they gave cousin Michael for his MBA later that same weekend. The family gatherings where my portfolio remained hidden in my room while my brother's medical school achievements dominated every conversation. This isn't about advantages, I say. This is about respect. Respect is earned, father replies, the attorney in him emerging. And you haven't earned it with this foolish dream. Mother dabs at the corner of her eye with a monogrammed handkerchief. We've given you everything, Emily. The best schools, the right connections. Her voice breaks with practiced precision. How can you throw it all away? The guilt rises in my chest, familiar and suffocating. For 28 years, I've measured my worth by their approval. But standing here now, I see the pattern with painful clarity. This isn't a phase, Dad. My voice trembles but doesn't break. I have clients, real contracts. Playing house with your little swatches and paint samples. Father walks to the window, looking out at the manicured lawn as if he can't bear to look at me. You'll be back in 6 months when reality hits and your bank account empties. I glance around my childhood bedroom one last time. The shelf of art competition trophies my parents never displayed downstairs. The design sketches I created at 14 that predicted trends magazines featured years later. The evidence of a talent they refused to see. I'd rather fail at something I love, I say, than succeed at something that kills my soul. Mother gasps as if I've slapped her. Father turns from the window, his face flushed. If you walk out that door chasing this foolish dream, don't bother coming back until you come to your senses. The ultimatum hangs in the air between us. This is the moment I've dreaded and anticipated for months. The reason I secured my Chicago apartment in secret, why I lined up clients before telling them my plans. I guess we have nothing more to say then. I pick up my suitcase, surprisingly calm despite the storm inside me. Emily Catherine Richardson. Father's voice follows me down the stairs. You're making the biggest mistake of your life. Each step toward the front door feels like walking through concrete. 28 years of seeking approval, 28 years of trying to be the daughter they wanted instead of the woman I am. The last box slides into my packed car. The April breeze carries the scent of mother's prized roses, planted in neat rows just like the life they planned for me. Father appears on the porch as I close the trunk. Don't expect us to bail you out when this fantasy crumbles. I slide behind the wheel without responding. The engine starts with a gentle Perron final gift from them on my 26th birthday when they still thought they could steer my life. The heavy front door slams behind him as I pull away, the sound echoing like a gunshot across the pristine neighborhood. In my rearview mirror, their Georgian colonial grows smaller, the home that raised me, the place that never understood me. Have you ever had to choose between your family's approval and your own dreams? I'm about to discover the true cost of both. At the present, July sun burns through my tiny Chicago apartment window. 3 months in, and the air conditioner still wheezes like an asthmatic runner. I balance my checkbook at the rickety IKEA table, squinting at the numbers. $847. The red line approaches faster than I anticipated. My phone buzzes. Jessica Winters, my college roommate whose father runs the advertising firm where Dad golfs on Thursdays. How's the Windy City treating my favorite decorator? Her voice carries the casual cheerfulness of someone whose trust fund never disappeared. Designer, I correct automatically. And it's going, well, considering. That's not what I heard. Something shifts in her tone. I ran into your mom at the club last weekend. The pencil snaps between my fingers, and she told everyone you're having a quarter-life crisis. Said you're cleaning hotel rooms in Chicago until you come to your senses. My throat tightens. I've never cleaned a hotel room in my life. I know that. But Mrs. Kensington canceled her consultation with you because your dad told her husband you're going through a rebellious phase and not reliable for serious projects. The room tilts sideways. Mrs. Kensington's lakefront condo would have covered 3 months' rent. That's impossible, I whisper, but the truth settles in my stomach like concrete. They wouldn't. There's more. Jessica hesitates. Remember that trust fund you were counting on for your business startup? The one you were supposed to get at 25? I close my eyes. What about it? Your brother's new medical practice? The one that appeared overnight in Hartford? Her voice drops. That's where your money went. Your parents told everyone you didn't need it because you were just playing around with decorating. The rage builds slowly, then all at once, like water breaking through a dam. 3 months of struggling, pinching pennies, sleeping on a futon while believing I was proving my independence. All while they systematically destroyed my reputation and stole my financial foundation. I have to go, I tell Jessica, my voice surprisingly steady. I hang up and stare at the wall until my phone buzzes again. Unknown number. Richardson Design, I answer, forcing professionalism into my voice. Miss Richardson? Marcus Thompson. I own the Lakeside Building on Michigan Avenue. I straighten. The Lakeside Building houses some of Chicago's most exclusive businesses. My assistant visited that cafe you designed, the one with the reclaimed wood and industrial lighting. His voice is deep, authoritative. I need someone with your eye for my new restaurant space. Can you meet tomorrow? Hope flickers. Absolutely. Good, 9 a.m. sharp. The line goes dead. I allow myself exactly 10 seconds of celebration before reality crashes back. My parents' betrayal requires immediate damage control. I call Sophia Martinez, my former design school classmate who chose Chicago over New York 3 years ago. When I explain my situation, she doesn't hesitate. Move in with me, she says. My roommate just left for LA. The rent's steep, but the networking opportunities in this building are worth it. I can't. You can and you will. Her voice brooks no argument. Partners split everything 50-50. I've been watching your work, Emily. We could be unstoppable together. The offer dangles like a lifeline. Partners? Richardson, Martinez Design. Or Martinez Richardson, I'm not picky. She laughs. Just get out of that dump you're in before your parents convince your landlord you're unstable. The words hit like a prophecy. The next morning, I meet Marcus Thompson at his building. He's not what I expected, younger than my father, with an ease that comes from earning success rather than inheriting it. Tell me why I should hire you instead of some established firm, he says, leading me through the empty restaurant space. I touch the exposed brick wall. Because I see what this could be, not what some cookie-cutter design firm thinks it should be. He raises an eyebrow. And what do you see? For the next 20 minutes, I outline my vision honoring the building's history while creating something distinctly modern. When I finish, he studies me with surprising intensity. You have talent, Miss Richardson, real talent. He hands me his card. I'm taking a chance on you, don't make me regret it. That afternoon, I visit my last client of the day, Mrs. Eleanor Walsh, an elderly widow redecorating her Gold Coast apartment. At 82, she's sharper than most 40-year-olds I know. Your color selections show remarkable restraint for someone so young, she says, examining my portfolio with jeweler's precision. Most designers your age throw glitter at everything. I laugh for the first time in days. Thank you. I know everyone worth knowing in this city, she continues. If you impress me, doors will open. As I leave her building, my phone buzzes with a voicemail notification. Unknown number. I press play. My father's voice fills my ear. This is Robert Richardson, Emily's father. I understand you're considering my daughter for your project. I feel it's my duty to inform you she's going through a difficult time. I wouldn't recommend hiring her for anything important. The phone slips from my hand, clattering on the sidewalk. The screen cracks a perfect spiderweb across my father's name. 6 months later, the envelope in my hands bears my landlord's letterhead. Third notice this month. I slide my finger under the flap, already knowing what I'll find. Dear Miss Richardson, we've received concerning inquiries about your financial stability. My stomach drops. The letter mentions a call from your father, expressing legitimate concerns about my ability to meet rent obligations. The words blur as my vision tunnels. I drop onto my secondhand sofa, the springs protesting beneath me. 4 months in Chicago, and father has found yet another way to force me home. First, the whispered warnings to potential clients, then the redirected trust fund, and now this a direct attack on my housing. The phone rings. I answer without checking the caller ID, half expecting father's smug voice. Emily? It's Marcus. His deep voice carries an unfamiliar excitement. Have you seen it? Seen what? I toss the landlord notice onto the coffee table. Chicago Magazine, the feature on upcoming restaurant designs. They loved what you did with Southside Bistro. The magazine. The interview I gave weeks ago, but assumed would amount to nothing. I'm looking at it right now. Marcus continues. They called your concept boldly refreshing and precisely what Chicago's dining scene has been missing. They used the word visionary, Emily. I press my hand against my mouth, reality shifting beneath me like tectonic plates. Are you serious? Dead serious. My phone's been ringing nonstop. Reservations are booked solid for the next 2 months. The landlord's notice stares up at me. Father's latest sabotage attempt lands in the same week as my first real public recognition. This changes everything, I whisper. This is just the beginning, Marcus says. My cousin owns that print shop on Michigan Avenue. We're framing this article, hanging it right at the entrance. After we hang up, I sit in the stillness of my apartment, awareness dawning like sunrise after the longest night. Father can call my landlord. Mother can spread rumors at the country club. None of it matters against the weight of that magazine article. I reach for my journal, the one where I've documented every dismissive comment, every undermining phone call I've discovered. I add today's landlord letter to the growing collection. What began as a way to process my hurt has transformed into something else entirely. Evidence. A month later, the night of Southside Bistro's grand opening arrives with the crisp perfection of early autumn. String lights crisscross the outdoor patio. Inside, every table gleams beneath fixtures I spent weeks sourcing from artisans across 3 states. Sophia stands beside me, surveying our handiwork. You realize this is going to change everything, right? I nod. Mrs. Walsh approaches, elegant in her vintage Chanel. The 70-something widow has become both client and unexpected mentor since I redesigned her Lakeshore Drive apartment. Emily, dear, half the Gold Coast is here tonight. She leans closer, pearls catching the light. And you'll never guess who just walked in. I follow her gaze to the entrance. My heart stops. Mother and father stand frozen in the doorway, scanning the packed restaurant with expressions I've never seen before. Confusion, disbelief. The slow dawning recognition that the narrative they've constructed of my inevitable failure doesn't match the reality before them. They're here, I whisper to Sophia, who immediately straightens beside me. Time for the grand tour? She raises an eyebrow. I smooth my black dress a splurge after the magazine feature and cross the restaurant. With each step, I shed the desperate daughter seeking approval and become something else, a professional in her element. Mother, father, what a surprise. My voice carries none of the trembling uncertainty from our last meeting. Mother's eyes dart around the crowded space, taking in the Chicago Tribune food critic laughing at a corner table, the local television personality gesturing enthusiastically toward the custom ceiling installation. "We were in town for your father's conference," she says, fingers worrying the clasp of her purse. "We thought we'd check on you." Check on my failure, she means. Witness my struggle so they could sweep in with their told you so rescue. Perfect timing. I gesture to the space around us. Marcus Thompson's new restaurant, my design. Father's face hardens as he recognizes the name from the magazine article his country club friends must have mentioned. This is unexpected. Before I can respond, Marcus appears at my side. "Emily, there you are. The investors are asking for you." He extends his hand to my parents. "Marcus Thompson, your daughter has transformed my business. We're already discussing 2 more locations based on the response to her design concepts." Mother's mouth forms a perfect O of surprise. Father shifts his weight, attorney instincts searching for control in an uncontrollable situation. "Is that so?" Father manages, his courtroom voice failing to mask his discomfort. Sophia joins us, champagne flutes balanced expertly between her fingers. "Emily, the Lakefront Hotel Group is asking for your card. Their CEO loves the reclaimed wood feature wall." The evening unfolds like a dream sequence. My parents stand awkwardly as Chicago's business elite approach, praising my work, exchanging cards, making appointments. The narrative they expected finding me defeated and ready to return home crumbles with each introduction. Later, as the night winds down, Mrs. Walsh pulls me aside. "Darling, I've spoken with the board at Greenleaf Properties. They're redoing their flagship hotel downtown. I showed them your portfolio. They want specifically you for the project." "Greenleaf Properties?" My voice catches. "The luxury chain?" "The very same." Her eyes twinkle. "The signing dinner is Thursday at Lakeview Country Club." The same country club where Mother once told her friends I was finding myself while dismissing my design dreams over cucumber sandwiches. I glance across the room, where my parents prepare to leave, faces tight with unspoken tension. They came expecting to witness my failure. Instead, they've become spectators to my rising success. As I watch them go, a strange peace settles over me. For the first time since leaving home, I realize a fundamental truth. I no longer need their approval to validate my choices. The proof surrounds me in Marcus's packed restaurant, in Sophia's unwavering partnership, in Mrs. Walsh's connections, in the business cards filling my purse. Standing in this space I created, watching my vision brought to life around me, I finally understand. Their opinion of my success has become irrelevant to my actual success. And that realization feels like freedom. 2 weeks later, the realtor's keys jingle as she unlocks the heavy oak door. Sunlight floods the marble foyer, dancing across herringbone floors that stretch toward floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Michigan. "As you can see, Miss Richardson, this property offers unparalleled views." She gestures toward Chicago's glittering skyline. $2.3 million is actually quite reasonable for Gold Coast waterfront. I step inside, my heels clicking against marble that reminds me of home, except this time, I'm the one writing the check. My fingers trace the mahogany banister of a sweeping staircase that would make Mother weak with envy. "I'll take it," I say, the words simple yet heavy with victory. The realtor blinks. "Don't you want to see the upstairs?" A smile spreads across my face. I've seen enough. 3 hours later, I sit in my design studio, signing the final paperwork for Richardson Design Collective's newest acquisition. My phone buzzes with Sophia's text. "Your father called the Henderson law firm to warn them about hiring you, again." I should feel wounded. Instead, a laugh escapes my throat. While father was sabotaging potential clients, I signed contracts with 3 senior partners from rival firms this morning. Each one specifically requested me after seeing my restaurant designs in Chicago Magazine. "Emily?" Marcus pokes his head through my office door, his expression unusually serious. "You need to see this." He slides his tablet across my desk. Mother's Facebook page glows with her latest passive-aggressive masterpiece. As parents, we must support our children through difficult phases, even when they reject our guidance. Some lessons can only be learned through failure. The comments section blooms with unexpected defiance. "Emily Richardson designed our bistro business up 42% since reopening." Her work on our law office was featured in Architectural Monthly. Strange definition of failure. Patricia, have you actually seen your daughter's work? It's revolutionary. Marcus watches my face. Your mother's post backfired spectacularly. People are noticing the disconnect. I say, tracing the edge of my desk-reclaimed walnut I salvaged from an abandoned warehouse. Between their narrative and reality. Perfect timing for our next move. Marcus says, sliding a formal letter across my desk. Architectural Digest confirmed they're featuring your Lakeshore Drive penthouse project next month. I press my palms against the cool surface of my desk, steadying myself. The same month I close on the mansion. The same month you reveal what you've built while they were busy predicting your failure. Marcus grins. Mrs. Walsh has been magnificent. Half of Chicago's social registry is requesting your services because of her recommendations. The studio door opens again as Sophia enters, her arms filled with material samples. The contractor called. We can begin mansion renovations next week. She drops an elegant leather portfolio on my desk. And this just arrived from Bradbury and Associates. They want a full valuation of Richardson Design Collective for their investment report. Valuation? My voice catches. 1.2 million, Sophia says, her eyes dancing with triumph. And that's conservative. I remember Father's final words as I drove away. Don't expect us to bail you out when this fantasy crumbles. My phone lights up with an incoming call. Father's law partner requesting an urgent consultation for their downtown offices. The universe has a wicked sense of humor. You know what's beautiful about this moment, I ask, letting the call go to voicemail? They have no idea what's coming. Speaking of which, Sophia pulls up her tablet. Your father's colleagues have started asking questions. Apparently, several clients mentioned your work at last week's Bar Association dinner. They wanted to know why Robert never mentioned his successful daughter. The image of father squirming under those questions warms me more than it should. And the mother? Marcus asks. Cornered at the country club. Sophia replies, scrolling through her notes. 3 different members asked about Emily's gorgeous spread in Design Today. Patricia claims she hadn't seen it. She lied, I say, remembering the magazine subscription records. Mother has received every issue for 15 years. The afternoon sunlight shifts, casting my office in amber glow. On my wall hangs a simple black and white photograph of me standing in my parents' driveway, a single suitcase beside me. I've kept it as a reminder of where this journey began. The mansion renovations will be completed in 6 weeks, I say, turning back to my team. Just in time for the Architectural Digest release. What are you planning? Sophia asks, recognition dawning in her eyes. I open my laptop and begin typing an invitation template, each keystroke deliberate and precise. An exclusive open house event, full media coverage, Chicago's most influential people. Marcus raises an eyebrow. And your parents? They'll receive an invitation. My fingers pause over the keyboard. Not as family, as interested parties in interior design. Sophia watches me closely. That's ice cold, Emily. No, I correct her, remembering every dismissal, every sabotage attempt, every cruel word. That's calculated. I finish typing the invitation, my anger crystallizing into something harder, more purposeful. The grandfather clock in my office, a deliberate echo of the one from my childhood home, chimes 6 times. The same hour I walked away 8 months ago. Print 2 copies on the heavy cardstock, I tell Sophia, and send them to Greenwich, Connecticut. The sun sets over Lake Michigan, painting the sky in shades of revenge. 2 months later, the grandfather clock in my foyer strikes 6. Each chime reverberates through the marble floors of my Chicago mansion, marking the beginning of my life as their conqueror. I stand in the doorway of my grand living room, champagne flute in hand, watching Father remove his reading glasses with deliberate slowness. 200 guests. He tests the words like they taste bitter on his tongue, for an interior design showcase. Mother clutches her pearls, examining the sophisticated crowd of Chicago's elite behind me. Her lips purse into that familiar expression of disbelief I've seen since I was 7 and chose art camp over tennis lessons. Your parents from Connecticut? A silver-haired magazine editor approaches us, extending her hand to Father. How wonderful you could attend Emily's triumph. Her vision has transformed Chicago's design landscape in just 3 years. Father straightens his tie with the same precision he uses in the courtroom. His mouth opens, then closes, as words fail him for perhaps the first time in his legal career. We always knew Emily had potential, Mother manages, her voice strained. More than potential, the editor laughs. Your daughter is revolutionizing commercial space design. The waiting list for her services stretches into next year. I smile, touching the editor's arm. Would you excuse us? I promised my parents the first tour. As I guide them through the mansion, cameras flash, journalists scribble notes. 200 influential Chicagoans, bank presidents, restaurant owners, real estate developers raise glasses in my direction. This main living area blends traditional architecture with contemporary elements. I explain, slipping effortlessly into my professional voice. I learned to trust my own vision when traditional sources of support weren't available. Mother flinches. Father stares at the limestone fireplace, avoiding my eyes. Your dining room was featured in Architectural Digest, someone calls out. The walnut table is exquisite. Salvaged wood, I respond. Sometimes beauty comes from discarded materials others failed to value properly. We move upstairs, past rooms that showcase different design philosophies. Each space tells its own story. Each room draws gasps of appreciation from the crowd following us. The final door opens to my home office. Here, magazine covers featuring my work line one wall. Award certificates hang beside them. A sleek computer displays real-time metrics of my business growth, client lists, revenue charts, property acquisitions. But it's the opposite wall that captures everyone's attention. This is where my journey began, I tell the crowd, my voice carrying through the suddenly quiet room. Sometimes the greatest clarity comes when you're forced to choose between comfort and growth. I'm grateful for that clarity. Father's face flushes dark red. Mother stares at the floor. A young journalist raises her hand. Did you have family support when you started your design career? The question hangs in the air. 200 people turn toward my parents, standing awkwardly in their expensive clothes, outsiders at their daughter's triumph. Success requires different kinds of support, I answer carefully. I was fortunate to find mentors who recognized potential, despite some initial skepticism from unexpected sources. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Business cards appear in hands. Everyone wants to align themselves with success. Father steps forward suddenly. Emily inherited her strong work ethic from our family, he announces, attempting to claim some credit before the influential crowd. The room falls silent. My moment has arrived. The most valuable thing I learned was self-reliance when support systems prove unreliable. I respond, my voice calm but carrying to every corner. That lesson proved more valuable than any inheritance. Someone whistles softly. The sound of a phone camera clicking breaks the tension. For the next hour, I'm surrounded by admirers while my parents drift through the crowd like ghosts. They watch as bank presidents seek my opinions. They observe as developers press business cards into my hand. They stand forgotten while Chicago's elite celebrate their daughter. The social reversal is complete. These are people whose approval my parents would desperately seek at their Connecticut country club. Now these same people barely acknowledge Robert and Patricia Richardson, focused instead on their daughter's vision and success. As the evening winds down, guests file out with praise still flowing. Brilliant showcase. Revolutionary concepts. Can't wait to see what you do next. My parents stand alone in the foyer, beneath another grandfather clock that marks the time with the same steady rhythm as the one in Connecticut. But everything else has changed. Was it worth it? I ask, approaching them as the last guests depart. Father adjusts his tie one final time. Mother touches her pearls, neither answers. They don't need to. The question wasn't really for them. It was for me. And standing in my mansion, surrounded by the evidence of my success despite their doubt, despite their active sabotage, I finally know the answer. Yes, it was worth every struggle, every tear, every moment of doubt. Not for the revenge, sweet as it is, but for the woman I discovered when I had no choice but to believe in myself. The chandelier in my foyer, crystal and brass, not the Georgian colonial fixture from my parents' home, casts golden light across 15 faces gathered around my dining table. 1 year since that fateful departure, and look at us now. Richardson Design Collective. 15 employees, $3 million in revenue, and a second mansion purchase that landed on the cover of Architectural Digest last week. To Emily, Sophia raises her champagne flute, her Argentine accent warming each syllable, who taught me that talent without courage is just wasted potential. Marcus, now owner of 3 restaurants featuring my designs, stands next. His broad shoulders straighten with pride. To the woman who turned down corporate hotel chains to design my little riverside cafe, loyalty matters. I sip my champagne, warmth spreading through my chest that has nothing to do with alcohol. This Thanksgiving table holds no judgment, only genuine celebration, no pearl clutching. No courtroom cross-examinations disguised as conversation. Mrs. Walsh, elegant at 82, passes the cranberry sauce. Did I tell you all that Emily's redesign of my vacation home impressed the Cayman Islands resort developer? That contract alone was worth? Eleanor. I laugh, color rising to my cheeks. Some things a lady keeps to herself. Nonsense, she winks. Success should be measured out loud when you've earned every inch of it. The conversation flows, punctuated by laughter. No one checking watches, no subtle disapproval of career choices, just genuine connection among people who choose to be together rather than obligated by blood. After dessert, while others linger over coffee, Jasmine's newest hire approaches with hesitation in her steps. Miss Richardson, could I ask your advice about something personal? We step into my home office. The wall opposite my desk displays that photo of me leaving Connecticut with a single suitcase, now framed alongside magazine covers and design awards. My parents gave me an ultimatum yesterday, Jasmine says, voice quivering. Either abandon this design nonsense and finish my business degree, or lose their financial support. Her eyes fix on my awards. I know I have talent, but they keep saying no one succeeds in creative fields unless they're already connected. The words strike a familiar chord. Last Thanksgiving, I sat alone in a studio apartment eating microwave turkey dinner while my family gathered without me. I take her hands in mine. My parents told me interior design was a hobby for bored housewives. Now I have 15 employees and design contracts with waiting lists. But your family had connections, right? Mine work at the post office and a grocery store. I guide her to the window overlooking Chicago's skyline. Marcus Thompson gave me my first break because he liked my portfolio, not my last name. Mrs. Walsh introduced me to her friends because she valued my work, not my pedigree. What should I do? Her voice breaks. That's your choice. But know this, if you choose your passion, you won't walk that path alone. We'll make sure of it. A week later, the First Steps Foundation becomes reality. Richardson Design Collective commits 5% of annual profits to grants and mentorships for young creative professionals facing family opposition. The paperwork sits on my desk beside an unexpected letter. The Richardson family letterhead, my father's formal signature. Your foundation announcement in the Tribune has given us much to consider, profound regret for our failure to recognize, on request permission to make amends. Substantial donation enclosed. I place the letter beside their check large enough to fund 3 full scholarships. My response is 3 lines long, boundaries clear, expectations measured, reconciliation possible but on new terms. Respect must be earned through actions, not purchased with money. 6 months later, the foundation hosts its first reception. Young artists, designers, and creatives fill the same mansion foyer where I once felt judged and dismissed. My parents stand awkwardly near the refreshment table, watching me present the inaugural grants. When someone tells you your dream isn't practical, I tell the recipients, remember that practicality never changed the world. Beauty, innovation, and courage did. Later that day, I step onto the small stage we've arranged in the living room, looking out at faces young and old, related by blood and by choice. My TED Talk is called Building Beauty from Broken Expectations. Because sometimes, I find my parents' eyes in the crowd. The greatest gift someone can give you is forcing you to believe in yourself. In my office the next day, I straighten that framed photo of me with my single suitcase. Beneath it sits a gallery of Success Markers Design Awards, magazine features, and now, foundation recipients' thank you notes. The journey from dismissed daughter to industry leader taught me this. Sometimes losing approval helps you find something more valuable, your own strength. What would you choose?